The story follows Kazuki, who is an average 16-year-old high schooler. So far his life has been pretty ordinary, but lately he has been having very strange dreams. One night, Kazuki dreams of a giant monster attacking a mysterious girl. He tries to save the girl, but in the process the monster kills him. Kazuki wakes up terrified, but he is comforted when he convinces himself that it was just a nightmare. The following day, Kazuki goes back to his ordinary school life. He is not the best student, so he often forgets his school equipment. This does not go well with his teacher, and Kazuki is punished by having to stay after school. Kazuki is angry, but he has no choice but to stay and do what his teacher tells him. As night approaches, the teacher starts to act strange, and soon enough it's revealed that the teacher is actually the monster from Kazuki's dream. Now he realizes that the whole nightmare was not just a dream, but it was reality. Kazuki then remembers his nightmares more clearly, and he remembers a girl that used Kakubine to revive Kazuki. He actually died, it was not just a dream. Just before the monster kills Kazuki, once again he is saved by Tokiko. She is the same girl who killed the previous monster called Mida. She saves Kazuki, and then reveals that the monsters that are attacking them are actually called homunculi. These monsters were created using a special skill called alchemy, and they are so powerful, only certain weapons can kill them. These weapons are called busa-renkin, and they are very rare. Tokiko wants Kazuki to go back home and forget any of this happened. She wants him to be safe. She then goes after the homunculi, who she is located in an empty warehouse. Kazuki at first listens to her, but he just cannot help himself, so he goes after her. When he arrives at the warehouse, he is faced with the homunculus leader. In a rush of emotions, Kazuki manages to activate his own busa-renkin weapon, and he even defeats the leader. Tokiko is very impressed by Kazuki, so she decides to take him as her student. She will now teach him about this new and dangerous world. Tokiko continues to investigate the warehouse. She notices that there are some interesting things inside of it. Her investigation soon leads her to clues indicating that homunculus were created inside the warehouse. There was a laboratory inside, and they did various experiments, especially focused on what creates homunculus creatures. She reveals some important information about homunculus and how they are created. She reveals to Kazuki that homunculus matters are actually parasite embryos, and they are placed inside a host. It is usually a human host. When the homunculus matters combine with the host, they create a fully powered up homunculus monster. Kazuki and Tokiko are then soon attacked by a strange man who arrives. He then releases homunculus matter and sends it directly at Tokiko. He wants to turn her into a homunculus monster. Tokiko is a very skilled warrior, so she manages to destroy the homunculus matter before it attaches to her. They manage to escape the situation unharmed. Soon after that, Tokiko realizes that parts of the homunculus matter have attached itself to Kazuki's sister. Tokiko wants to help her, so she goes and tries to destroy the homunculus matter. Her attempt fails, and the homunculus matter now finally attaches itself to Tokiko. Tokiko now explains that she only has 1 week before she fully transforms into a homunculus monster. In that time, they have to find the man that attacked them, and hopefully he has a cure of her condition. Kazuki really wants to help Tokiko, so he tries to find the mysterious man who attacked them. Tokiko and Kazuki finally figure out that the man who is creating the homunculus monsters is actually at Kazuki's high school. Both Tokiko and Kazuki try to search for him all over the school, but they just cannot find him. It seems that wherever he has really hidden his base of operations. While they cannot find the homunculus creator, Kazuki is soon faced against one of his monsters. He is attacked by a frog homunculus, and Kazuki now must use all the knowledge he has learned from Tokiko. Their fight is brutal, and Kazuki has to use all of his power to fight the homunculus. He manages to defeat the frog homunculus, but he wastes a lot of his energy. Kazuki cannot stand anymore from all his injuries, so he faints after the battle is over. Suddenly, a plant homunculus arrives, and it moves to kill Kazuki. He cannot defend himself as he is totally spent, but lucky for Kazuki, Tokiko shows up at the last second. She manages to defeat and kill the plant homunculus. After a while, Kazuki finally wakes up, and he sees that Tokiko saved his life once again. He promises Tokiko that he will train harder than ever, and he will do much better in his future fights. Tokiko and Kazuki continue to investigate the creator of the homunculus, and Tokiko does not have much time left. Finally, after they discover that the creator is actually called Koshaku, they find him and face off against him. Koshaku then reveals that he wants to turn himself into a homunculus human hybrid. He wants to achieve this goal while using a special homunculus embryo that will give him powers far beyond any human or homunculus. He will become the ultimate creation. Koshaku then sends his hawk homunculus called Washio to capture Kazuki and Tokiko. The hawk homunculus manages to easily overpower both Tokiko and Kazuki and takes them deep in the forest. There, the three of them begin a fierce battle. Both Washio and Tokiko are impressed with Kazuki and his use of busa-renkin weapons. Washio loves that he finally has a challenge in battle. Both Tokiko and Kazuki combine their attacks hoping to overpower Washio, but he is just in another league. Kazuki uses a flash attack to blind Washio so they could escape. Tokiko and Kazuki try to hide in the forest while they come up with a plan, and Tokiko notes that they have to change up their attack pattern. Washio might be powerful, but he cannot handle one defensive and offensive attack. Meanwhile, Kazuki's friends back at high school wonder where he has gone. They have been worried about him for quite some time. Back in the forest, Kazuki and Tokiko launch their attacks, and Tokiko manages to hit Washio and damage his wings. She then falls to the ground and Kazuki has to finish the fight himself. While Washio and Kazuki fight, they both explain their motivation. It seems that Washio was resurrected by the homunculus creator, so he thinks that he owed him his life. On the other hand, Kazuki is very grateful to Tokiko for saving his life. After a long battle, Kazuki finally manages to defeat Washio, and he then goes to see Tokiko. She can no longer move because of the homunculus embryo inside of her. Kazuki then picks her up and carries her back into town. He leaves Tokiko with his friends as they are now the only people he trusts. Kazuki then goes to search for Koshaku as he has the cure that can help Tokiko. After some time, Kazuki finally manages to find the laboratory that is used to create homunculus matter. He hopes to find Koshaku there so he can give him the cure to save Tokiko. It is revealed that the laboratory belonged to the great-great-grandfather of Koshaku. Kazuki decides to destroy everything in the lab, especially targeting homunculus matter. His attempt is sadly interrupted when Koshaku's younger brother Chauno shows up. The two begin a fierce fight, and Chauno is very fast and powerful. Soon enough, Koshaku finally finishes his grand plan. He combines his own body with a homunculus embryo and he turns himself into a hybrid of a human and homunculus. Koshaku in his monster form cannot control himself, so he starts to attack and eat everyone around him. He is now truly a monster, and Kazuki is the last hope of stopping him. Kazuki uses all the power he has and attacks Koshaku. He knows that if Koshaku gets out of the lab, he will destroy humanity. Using his Busa Renkin, Kazuki manages to finally defeat and kill Koshaku. After the battle is over, Kazuki falls to the ground as he has wasted all of his energy. Kazuki has no strength left in his body, but he knows that he must deliver the cure to Tokiko. After some time, he wakes up and sees a cured Tokiko near him. Tokiko is very proud and grateful, so she names his Busa Renkin the Sunlight Heart. After the battle is over, Kazuki has a lot of questions, but mainly he wants to know how Tokiko got her hands on the cure. He was too exhausted to deliver it himself. It is revealed that Captain Bravo delivered the cure to Tokiko and saved her. Kazuki gets to meet Captain Bravo, who reveals that he is part of the Alchemist Warriors and he wants Kazuki to join his group. The main mission of the Alchemist Warriors is to fight something called the LXD. The LXD are a very dangerous group of human homunculi hybrids. The biggest surprise is when Kazuki learns that this very powerful group of monsters is actually located in his hometown. They have been using this small town as their base of operations for quite some time. While everyone thought that Koshaku is dead, he is actually found by members of the LXC group and they take his body to their leader. It is revealed that the true leader of the LXC group is actually Koshaku's great-great-grandfather, and his name is Dark Butterfly. Dark Butterfly decides to resurrect Koshaku. Using his skills and special powers, he brings him back to life without a problem. Papillon then decides that Kazuki is his main enemy. He goes to actually confront Kazuki in person, and he declares that war is coming and none of his friends are safe. Soon after that, Kazuki, Bravo, and Tokiko are attacked by Kinjo. Kinjo is a homunculus that is part of the LXD group. Kinjo thinks that he is very powerful, but Captain Bravo defeats him in mere seconds. After the battle is done, the Alchemist Warriors realize that they must prepare for a much greater battle in the future. Captain Bravo is especially concerned, so he decides that Kazuki requires a lot more training to be on the level of LXE homunculus. Captain Bravo demands that Kazuki joins him in the woods, and there they will begin special training. Meanwhile, Tokiko is ordered to protect the kakugane that were found from the battle before. The kakugane are very important objects that are used by alchemist warriors to essentially create Busa-Renkin weapons. Soon enough, trouble finds their way to Tokiko. A homunculus called Janae is sent to retrieve the kakugane. Janae uses his own Busa-Renkin and then manages to take over the minds of every student at the dorm. He basically makes them his own slaves that are going to attack Tokiko for him. Tokiko realizes that she is in danger, but she does not want to hurt her own classmates. Soon enough, she faces off against Janae, and she manages to defeat and kill him with ease. Suddenly, Dr. Butterfly shows up to the scene, and he gets his hands on the kakugane and escapes. Kazuki trains almost every day with Captain Bravo, but today is a bit different. He has been working tirelessly for quite some time, and it's also raining, so Tokiko wants him to take a break. Kazuki and Tokiko have no idea how they will get home in this rain, but they are soon introduced to the Hayasaka twins. Their names are Shuzui and Oka. They seem very friendly, and they help Tokiko and Kazuki. While Oka and Shuzui at first glance seem like just regular students, they are actually humans that work for the LXE organization. They were tasked by Dr. Butterfly himself to find the alchemist warriors at their school and eliminate them. Soon enough, two LXE homunculi enter the school and start attacking the students. Kazuki and Tokiko have to get involved and fight the monsters. They manage to defeat both the homunculi, but the twins then realize that they are the alchemist warriors that they have been looking for. The twins are on the rooftops of the school, and they are looking down at Kazuki and Tokiko. Suddenly, they attack, and the two alchemist warriors must face off very powerful enemies. Kazuki begins to fight with all his might, and soon enough he critically injures Shuzui. Shuzui does not have long before he dies, but his sister Oka uses her own Busa Renkin to heal his wounds. Her Busa Renkin is not without problems. While she can heal her brother, she must now transfer his injuries onto her own body. Kazuki soon realizes that the twins are not really homunculi, but just mere humans that are working for those monsters. He wants to know if they are truly the enemy and what their motivation is. Shuzui finally reveals that both he and his sister want to become homunculi and live forever. This realization shocks Kazuki, as they are essentially giving away their humanity for eternal life. The twins promise to be there for each other until death tears them apart. Kazuki and Tokiko start to argue about what they should do, and Shuzui uses that opportunity to inflict a lethal wound on Kazuki while he is talking. Kazuki is now slowly dying, but Oka does not want him to get killed. She decides that she will use her healing Busa Renkin. She absorbs his wounds, and then she slowly starts to die. Opa tells her brother that Kazuki is not their enemy and they can trust him. Kazuki, Shuzui, and Tokiko all decide to join forces and help Oka survive her wounds. They use the Kakubine and heal her so she survives. The following day, Tokiko and Kazuki go to meet with Oka. She is now in the hospital and is healing her wounds. She reveals that her brother Shuzui decided to board a train and go face off against the LXD group. He does not want him and his sister to be part of their monstrous plan. Kazuki, Tokiko, and Captain Bravo decide that they have to take the battle to the LXE group. It's time to stop their evil plans. The trio of alchemist warriors manages to find the LXE base of operations, and there they find out that Dr. Butterfly has created an entire army, and his plan is to send it to attack Kazuki's school. He has countless homunculi warriors, and they will kill all the students if they are not stopped. Captain Bravo decides to fight the homunculi that are still at the LXE base. He starts a fierce fight with a homunculus monster called Moonface. In the meantime, Tokiko and Kazuki go back to the school, and they prepare to defend it from Dr. Butterfly and his homunculus army. These homunculus are giant, and they seem like true animals. Dr. Butterfly orders all of them to enter the school and kill everyone in sight. Suddenly, Kazuki and Tokiko finally reach the school courtyard, and they begin to fight the homunculus monsters. Their Buso Reiken are very powerful, and they slash through the monsters. Inside the school, all of Kazuki's friends are very proud of him and how strong he is. One of the students announces over the intercom that Kazuki and Tokiko are also monsters. Kazuki's friends go and confront that student, as he is making their friends seem like a villain. When a giant homunculi finally reaches the school, Kazuki shows up at the last second and kills it without a problem. He is now seen as a hero in the eyes of all the students. Kazuki and Tokiko manage to defeat most of the homunculus monsters, and the students in the school start to celebrate. Dr. Butterfly is not yet finished with his evil plan, and he orders his monsters to start merging. The homunculi monsters combine into one giant creature, and Kazuki does not know if they can defeat it. Dr. Butterfly also activates his device, which starts to drain the students of their energy. He thinks that all humans are just food to be consumed by the homunculi monsters. Suddenly, Chono shows up. He is an old enemy of Kazuki, and he seems to be working with Dr. Butterfly. Soon enough, the two start to argue. Chono wants to become the new leader, and Dr. Butterfly is very much against that. They begin a bloody fight with each other, which allows Kazuki and Tokiko some time to go and save the students inside the school. While all of that is happening, Captain Bravo is still fighting the homunculi known as Moonface. This homunculus seems very powerful, as he can create exact copies of himself. Captain Bravo has a lot of trouble with this monster, but he swears that he will not allow any more of his soldiers to die. Captain Bravo manages to fight, and he almost defeats Moonface. Back at the school, Kazuki and Tokiko enter to find the students on the floor. They do not seem to be moving at all. Tokiko tells Kazuki that he cannot allow this to break his spirit, but he wants to know if any of his friends are alive. The battle between Dr. Butterfly and Chono is finally over, and the doctor has been defeated. Before he dies, he reveals some of his secrets. It seems that a man called Victor was inside of his flask. This being called Victor is actually a creature that is far above any human or even homunculi. Kazuki realizes that he must destroy the flask before Victor can reach its full power. He tries to attack it, but it's far too late. Victor has been revived. Dr. Butterfly wanted to kill all those people and absorb their energy just to bring back this mysterious being. Kazuki sees that Victor is a great threat, so he attacks him with his full force. Victor kills Kazuki with ease and his kakubine is destroyed. After some time, Kazuki manages to regenerate his kakubine, and it's revealed that he actually now has something called a black kakubine. This special kakubine transforms Kazuki into a being that is similar in its power levels to Victor. Victor and Kazuki begin their battle. They are now evenly matched as Kazuki has reached a level of power above any alchemist warrior to date. Soon enough, Victor realizes that this battle can go on forever as Kazuki is just that strong. He decides to stop the battle and leave the school. Captain Bravo finally manages to defeat the homunculi he was fighting. He returns to see that his warriors have managed to stop a great tragedy as all the students are found alive. That night, Captain Bravo meets with Kazuki and Tokiko, and he tells them that now their mission seems to be over and that he is very proud of them. Kazuki has managed to return to his human form, but he now has great power. The following day, all the students decide to go to the beach and have some fun. Kazuki is really surprised when he sees Tokiko in her swimsuit. It seems that there are some romantic feelings between the two of them. That same day, Tokiko meets with Goda. He tells her that they have to meet as he has some really important information. That night, Tokiko goes to meet with Goda. She does not trust him but wants to know what kind of secrets he has. They start talking and Goda reveals that Kazuki will soon be killed because he is a grave threat to many organizations and people. Captain Bravo and Kazuki also meet up and there is some difficult news for Kazuki. Bravo reveals that in 6 weeks, Kazuki will start to drain the energy of others around him. He will become a being like Victor, and he will cause great harm to the people he loves. Captain Bravo tells Kazuki that he was ordered to kill him before he fully transforms. Bravo and Kazuki begin their battle, but the captain is just too powerful. He manages to beat Kazuki, and he throws his lifeless body into the ocean below. Captain Bravo is sad because of what he had to do, but he realizes that it was for the greater good. Tokiko is heartbroken by this news, and she does not want to give up on Kazuki so easily. She actually manages to find his body in the ocean. She gets Kazuki out of the water and manages to bring him back to life. In the meantime, Goda finds out that a team of alchemist warriors have been sent to confirm that Kazuki is dead. This special team is led by Hiwatari, who is the chief of the alchemist warriors, and he's a very powerful fighter. Goda then finds out that the alchemist warriors also plan to kill Tokiko as she worked closely with Kazuki and they see her as a dangerous individual. Goda does not want that to happen, so he makes things difficult for their mission and manages to buy some time. He then goes to meet with Tokiko and a now revived Kazuki. The three of them agree to work together and Tokiko has a plan. They all go to their school as that is the place where Tokiko found Kazuki's kakubine. With this kakubine, they might have a chance to restore his humanity. That way he will not become a parasite like Victor. Tokiko reveals that she met with a mysterious person who actually gave her Kazuki's kakubine. That person might know a way to reverse the state of the black kakubine and bring Kazuki back to his normal state. In the meantime, Chono finds the team that is searching for Kazuki, and he starts to fight Genji, who is part of the team. Elsewhere, Shuzui has now become an alchemist warrior, and they want him to join the battle with Victor. Kazuki and his friends are attacked by the team of alchemist warriors at a nearby graveyard. With one slash of the Busa Renkin, Kazuki is separated from Tokiko and Goda. Soon enough, Chono defeats Genji, and he interrogates him about the location of Kazuki and his friends. Goda and Tokiko manage to defeat their enemy. They then decide to look for Kazuki as they have to save him. Meanwhile, a group of alchemist warriors manage to finally find Victor, and they begin a battle with him. Without breaking a sweat, Victor manages to defeat all of them. Shuzui uses his powers and manages to save the entire unit of alchemist warriors before Victor kills all of them without mercy. Kazuki tries to escape, and he soon runs into Captain Bravo. They begin a fight once more, but he is soon defeated as Bravo is just too powerful. Bravo admits that after he kills Kazuki, he will also kill himself as he feels very sad about the entire situation and wants to redeem himself. Kazuki is angry that because of him his teacher Captain Bravo will die, so he manages to attack him once again. With all this power, Kazuki manages to break the Busa Renkin that Bravo is using, and he even wounds the captain. Bravo is proud of his pupil and allows him to find a cure to save himself. Then suddenly, Hiwatari shows up and prepares to attack Kazuki. Hiwatari decides to fight Kazuki, Bravo, and all of their friends. During the battle, Hiwatari critically damages Captain Bravo. Kazuki and Hiwatari go at each other, and with their final blows, they will certainly kill each other. Then out of nowhere, the alchemist general shows up. His name is Shosei Sakaguchi, and he stops both Kazuki and Hiwatari without a problem. He then reveals that there is no longer an order to kill Kazuki, and all the alchemists must work together to defeat Victor once and for all. Shosei then gives Tokiko and Goda the title of alchemy warriors, and he even allows Kazuki to continue his hunt to find a cure for himself. All the alchemist warriors join forces and face off against Victor in a final battle. In the meantime, Kazuki, Tokiko, and Goda go to school to find the mysterious figure. This person introduces themselves as Victoria, and she leads Kazuki and his friends to Alexandria. Alexandria is just a brain in a giant chamber, but she was the original creator of the Black Kakugane. Alexandria reveals that she also created a White Kakugane. This White Kakugane can heal Kazuki and bring him back to his human state, but she only has one. Now, Kazuki has to choose between healing himself or using the White Kakugane to stop Victor. The alchemist warriors are still fighting Victor, and they are losing a lot of their soldiers. In the meantime, Kazuki and Tokiko spend some time with their friends from school. They all go to a nearby amusement park. Kazuki takes his time, but he finally decides how he will use the White Kakugane. He has decided to use it on Victor, as he wants to save humanity and especially his friends. Kazuki goes to meet with Alexandria, and he takes the White Kakugane. He then makes his way to the battlefield where Victor is fighting the alchemist warriors. Kazuki uses his Busarenkin, and with all his power, he forces the White Kakugane inside of Victor. Sadly, this does not have the needed effect. It does not turn Victor into a normal human. The White Kakugane seems to just weaken Victor for a while. Without any other choice, Kazuki flies himself and Victor to the moon. He manages to save the Earth but sacrifices his own life. Tokiko is heartbroken as she has now lost Kazuki. The Earth is now saved, but Kazuki has been seemingly lost. All of his friends mourn his sacrifice, but they soon have to return to their normal school life. Tokiko fights Chono before she leaves town forever. Oka, Goda, and Tokiko all fight against all the homunculi that Chono has created. Tokiko promises that she will finish Kazuki's mission and defeat all the evil homunculi monsters. Chono then reveals that he has been trying to create a White Kakugane. He also wants to bring Kazuki back to life. The battle is stopped when all of them notice that the light from Kazuki's Busarenkin can still be seen on the moon. The alchemist warriors all fly into space to find Kazuki. On the moon, the epic battle between Victor and Kazuki continues. Seeing Kazuki's determination to protect his friends, Victor stops. Victor has a change of heart and decides to send Kazuki back to Earth. Kazuki realizes that Victor is not all evil, so he decides to take him back to Earth. Shomono finally creates a White Kakugane and heals Kazuki of his condition. They finally have their duel. The alchemist warrior all join forces and create another White Kakugane and heal Victor with it. Victor wants to be turned into a homunculus. He promises that he will take all the homunculi to the moon and they will live there in peace. Kazuki and Tokiko return back to their normal school lives, and finally it seems that there is peace.